Hi guys, welcome to learntocreategames.com. Today we'll look at creating a health bar. So we'll be looking at using images, changing the size of these images, and setting the color. So let's get started. So first, what we'll do is create an image, a UI element. So again, GameObject, UI, and image. By default, it will create a canvas. So this canvas will have the properties that will actually make sure that this element is displayed, and also in terms of Z-axis, but we'll have a look at that later. So the first thing I'm doing here is I set the width and height of this element as well as its color. So right now it's going to be a green color because the health will start with a green color for our game. So once this is done, you can see it will appear in the game window, and what I'm doing is I'm just putting it in the top left corner just to make sure that the player can see it without too much effort. So once this is done, there are other things that I need to do. The first thing I will do is just create a script. So what this script will do basically is to test whether a key has been pressed on the keyboard, and whenever it has been pressed, we will create a variable called health, decrease this variable, and then resize the health bar accordingly. So I'm going to take this script, drag and drop it on the UI element called image, and then I should be able to edit this script. So again, you can see that this script has been added as a component of my object. So let's double click on the script and see how we can modify it. So the first thing, I'm going to create a variable called health. It's going to be an integer, and it will basically symbolize or represent the amount of health. So again, it's going to be 100 at the very start. Once this is done, I'm going to initialize the value of this variable to 100 at the start, in the start function. Then in the update function, I will look at whether the player or the actual user will press a key. So in our case, I'm going to look for the key called H. So if the user presses the key called H, then we're going to do several things. So the first thing that we will do is to decrease the size of the component for the image. So again, the code is GameObject.getComponent. Then we can use the rectangle that is used for the health, and then just resize it using the size delta property. So again, the vector that's used to resize it is resizing it on the X using the health, and on the Y it's going to be 20. So again, what it will do is first on the first line decrease the health by 1, and then I'm going to resize this rectangle again by decreasing its width using the health value to define its width. So as the health will decrease, then the actual width will also decrease. So as we play the game, we will see that it works. So whenever I press on the H key, the health will decrease. The only problem is that my rectangle is kind of centered right now. So what I'd like is that the top left corner should stick to the left so that it looks a little bit better. To do so, there is an option in the image component, and this image is the anchor. So what I'll do is use an anchor of 0 for X and an anchor of Y for of 1 for Y. Okay, so again here this is the anchor property. You can see that by default it's going to be 0.5 on the X and 0.5 also on the Y. So what I'm going to do is quite simple. I will just make sure that it's now 0 on the X and Y and 1 on the Y. Okay, so again 0 here and 1 for the Y. So once this is done, if we play the scene again, what you should see is that the top left corner now stays at the exact same position. So it's anchored to the left. Okay, so again you can see that now it looks a little bit better, or I suppose the way it does look in games usually. So the next thing I'd like to do is to create a background for the health. Okay, so again what I'm doing is duplicating the canvas. Okay, it's kind of a container for the health right now, and I'm going to call a duplicate canvas BG. So again, inside this canvas you have an image, and again, since we are not going to use the script for this one, I'm going to deactivate the script and set the color to black. Now, as you can see, first this black, I suppose, image is on top of the other one. So I want to push it back. So I'm going to change this Z property and increase it. So again, as I play it, you can see that the black color is in the background and the green will decrease. So again, it's kind of nice just to have a little background for the health. so that regardless of the background, you can still see the health properly. So the next thing we need to do is to make sure that the health bar is actually, the color depends on the health itself. So for instance, in some games, for instance, when the health gets really low, the health bar gets red or orange. So in our case, we're going to use, suppose, high values just to be able to demonstrate it in this tutorial. So again, if the health is less than 95, we're going to set the color to yellow. And then if it's less than 90 or 93, we're going to set the color to red. So in our case, we're going to type GameObject.getComponent. So we're going to get the component on the object, and this component is an image of type UI, and then the color will be yellow. Okay, so color.yellow, C is uppercase because you use a stack the class color, and again with a predefined color for this class, which is yellow. So again, we're going to copy and paste this line, but then we look at the value of 90 for the health, and again the color is now red. So again, let's test it. If we play it, we're going to decrease health when it's past 95. When it's passing 95, sorry, it will become yellow, and then pass 90 and it's going to be red then. Well, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and again, if you want to learn more about Unity, please check the website learntocreategames.com. See you. Bye.